A very good morning, dear children. So, we shall begin with our lesson number 3. Okay, so I would like to ask you or tell you something. What is this lesson all about? Okay, so this lesson is about a pictorial glimpses of the history of a country from 1757 to 1857. So if you see in your textbook, it is all about the pictorial glimpses. Now glimpses means a partial view. We are not going to see deep inside. Now this lesson is about all of the past. Okay, how India started struggling for the freedom. So we are just going to see the partial views, not in whole. Okay, and it has started from 1757, okay, to 1857. These pictures and speech bubbles will help to clarify our understanding, okay, of the condition that led to the events known as the First War of Independence. So this will help us to understand. Okay, so the first is the martyrs. Okay, as the name itself is glimpses of the past, the first what we are going to study is the martyrs. Now you may ask, what is martyrs? Now martyrs is nothing but one who gives away his life for a cause. Okay, one who gives life for a cause. Now if you look into your book, in the first picture also we can see Lata Mangeshkar is singing one song, and that is, "O my countrymen, let your eyes fill with tears as you recall the sacrifice of India's martyrs." Okay, that is in Hindi, "ए मेरे वतन के लोगों, जरा आँख में भर लो पानी." This song it is, and she is singing. Okay, so this is, she is just recalling the freedom. Okay, through the pictures, it explains the ideas that lead to the war of independence. So this is what we are going to see now. Now, the second is the company's conquest. Now, what is conquest? Conquest means victory. Okay, so the company's conquest. Now, if you see in the first bubble, with its superior weapons, the British East India Company was extending its power in the 18th century. So with its superior weapons, the Britishers had a very with its superior weapons. So these Britishers had a very good qualities of weapons. Their weapons were very superior. So with its superior weapons, the British East India Company was extending its powers. So this British had the East India Company, and they were extending their powers, okay, in the 18th century in India. So this is all happening in the 18th century. The British are extending their power in India. Okay, so you can see the map of India. It is completely yellow. So this was the Indian princes were ruling this part. Okay, then the Britishers, that is the pink parts, they were of the Britishers. So slowly what was happening is that these British rules, they started extending. So this yellow started becoming more of pink. That is, they started extending their territories, and they almost rule whole part of the India, as we all know. Okay, so next, Indian princes were short-sighted. Now, what it means, Indian princes were short-sighted, that upstart Rajabha call the English merchant, they will help me to defeat him. So now what was happening is that the Indian princes were short-sighted, means they thought only for a small term, okay, span, and they did not think in future what is going to happen, because we ourselves, our princes ourselves, started calling, giving invitation for the British to help them. They didn't take help of the other princes, okay, who are ruling our country, but they started taking help of the Britishers, and it was for them, they needed that much to just extend their territories. So what happened? our princes were short-sighted. Okay, that upstart Rajaba. So one of the princes, okay, was ruling one part of India, that is Rajaba. He calls the English merchants. They will help me to defeat him. So he wanted to take help of the Britishers to defeat the other Indian prince. Okay, so the people had no peace due to such constant fight. So our kings and the prince of our country, they only had a constant. Now and then they always had fights. Okay, constant means regular fights, and there was no peace between our kings. Okay, so what happened? The rivalries helped the East India Company, and it could easily subdue Indian princes one by one. So now what happened? Here you can see in the picture that the rivalries helped the East India Company. So those who are enemies, the kings who are enemies of the Indian territories, okay, they helped the East India Company, and it could easily subdue. Now subdue means oppress these Indian princes one by one. Here the meaning of subdue is oppress. So our own kings, okay, they were rivalries, and this helped the East India Company, and it could easily oppress our Indian one by one. Then a far-seeing ruler like the brave Tipu Sultan of Mysore fought the British till he died fighting. So there was one king, okay, you can see there was one king, and he was a far-seeing. As we saw that they were in the starting, we saw short-sighted, who did not see far, did not read about how things are going to happen in the future. Now there was one king, okay, who could read what is going to happen in the future. Okay, so he could see far seeing. Far seeing means how things are going to happen in the future. So there was one king or a ruler, you can see. A far seeing ruler like the brave Tipu Sultan of Mysore. So this was none other than Tipu Sultan of Mysore, who fought with the Britishers till he died fighting. So this was one of the ruler who went on fighting, and he fought till he gave his life. That is, he died fighting. Okay, then you can see the next picture. Thank God there is no peace in the country now. No more wars and no lootings by thugs. So who's saying this? Thank God there is peace in the country now. No more wars and no lootings by thugs. So this is said by our own people of our country. Okay, the common man, he is saying this. Now he feels that there is peace because the Britishers are ruling them in our country. Now no more wars, no more lootings. Okay, there is no robbery, there is no wars. Okay, by the thugs. Now thugs, the meaning here is cheats. So this is what the common man is speaking among themselves. Then what he says? It is God who sent the Britishers. So again this is said by the normal people of India or the common man. He says, it is God who sent the Britishers. The one more man, what he says? Our destiny is linked with them. So he said that our future, our fate is now linked with these Britishers. This is what they are speaking among themselves. How did Indian react to this conquest now? This was what they reacted. Okay, they say that we are having peace because the British have come. There's not going to be any looting. There's not going to be any war. So one says that it is God who sends. The other who is that he says our fate is linked with them. So this is what they're thinking. This is the common man is thinking. Okay, now what happens? The white man has killed or dethroned our kings. Now some of them are also thinking like this. Some group of people think that these are come for our good, the Britishers. Some are thinking that the white man has killed or dethroned our kings. So white man means the Britishers. What they saying? That the Britishers have killed our kings, and dethroned means they have taken away the thrones of our kings. This is what some group of people think. And some people think also some kings were not good, but after all, they were of this land. So this is what they are saying, that they were our people. Okay, so they say after all they are our kings. They were the people of our land. So this is what there was a mixed feeling among the people of our country. Okay, the common man had a mixed feeling. Some spoke that they are for the good, some spoke that they are for the bad. So they said that some kings were not good, but after all they were for of this land. They also admit that some kings were not good, they didn't rule the kingdom properly, but still they call them that they were our people of our land. Some say now we have become slaves of foreigners. So this is what they had, the mixed feeling. Some spoke good of the Britishers, some spoke good of our own countrymen. This is what was the feeling they had. So this is all about the company's conquest from 1757 to 1849. The next third part is the British rule. Now this was from 1765 to 1836. Okay, this was about the British rule. Okay, religious leaders preached ideas like untouchability and child marriage. Now, religious leaders means our sadhus. Okay, what they did, these were the religious leaders, and what they did, they preached. Now, preached means they lectured or they gave advice. Okay, preached means lectured or to give advice. In short, you can say advice also. So the religious leaders preached ideas like, so these were the people who preached ideas like untouchability and child marriage. Nowadays we do not have this untouchability, child marriage. But if you think in the early 19th century also we had this. Okay, untouchability, child marriage, all this was there in our country. So this was preached by whom? This was preached by the religious leaders. Okay, and what they said, anyone who crosses the seas loses his religions. I mean those who went abroad. So these people will lose their religion. This is what was being preached by our religious leaders. And all the miseries in the world is due to women. What they said, that all the miseries, all the problems that we have, this all is because of the women. Okay, so this was being practiced. So this all comes to superstitions actually. Untouchability, child marriage, then ladies, okay, women, okay, all the miseries in the world is due to women, they said. Then the truth was that Indian had lost self-respect. The British scorned them. Now actually the real thing was that the truth was that the Indian had lost self-respect. Our own people in our own land, we had no now self-respect. The British scorned them. Scorned, here the meaning of scorned is hated. Okay, the British scorned them. So there was a line between the locals or the Indians and the Britishers. And what happened? The Britishers started hating the people of India. Being merchants, the Britishers wanted quick profits. Their heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their fields. So now what happened? The Britishers started ruling. Okay, they started hating the Indians, and what they did, they were merchants. Okay, they came to take away all the precious things from India, and what they wanted, the British wanted quick profits. So they want to take away all the things from India and they wanted quick profits. Now, their heavy taxes forced Indian farmers and they imposed heavy taxes on the Indians. And because of that, they were unable to pay the taxes. Okay, what happened? The farmers had to abandon means leave their fields because they could not pay taxes, and this is what they wanted. Okay, so This is the way the Britishers started behaving with the Indians. They wanted quick profit, and that's why they imposed heavy taxes on the farmers, and the farmers had to leave their fields. But your men are taking all my crops. You are still in arrears. Now, what happened? The Indians, okay, what they said, your men are taking all the crop, means the Britishers are taking all the crops. You are still in arrears, means you are in debt. Okay, arrears means you're in debt. Who? The Indian farmers are in debt. They're not able to pay the taxes, and that's why they're taking all the crops. If you don't pay next week, I will send you to jail. See, if they don't pay, the Indian farmers, they don't pay the taxes, the Britishers threatened them. They said, we will send you to jail. So this is what the Britishers started threatening the Indians. Now, still, the British invented other methods which gave them more profits. So this was one, that is, they started had the Indian had to pay huge amount of tax. If they don't pay the tax, their fields were taken away, and they were even sent to jails. This was one. Second is what? Still, the Britishers invented other methods. So they started again inviting some other methods who gave them more profit. So the Britishers were trying to invent lot of new things, new methods, so that they get more profit. So what happened here? The goods manufactured in England should not have any import duty when bought into India. So this was one more method. Okay, the goods manufactured in England. So what was really happening is, the raw material, it actually went from India, and they made a finished product and brought back to India. And what they wanted, they didn't wanted to have any import duty. So they didn't wanted that any import duties to be imposed on those goods when they were brought into India. So what the Britishers say, yes, this is a very good idea. So the East India Company's law began to cripple Indian industries. So what started happening now? Because uh, of the many laws, okay, of whom? Of the East Indian Company. They started putting lots of laws, okay, rules and regulations. And because of this, uh, our people, that is our Indian industry, started to cripple. Cripple means they were uh, becoming poorer and poorer. Okay, they had to almost close down the industries. Such was the condition of the people of India. So the East India Company law began to cripple Indian industries. So their industry started flourishing, and our industry started crippling down. Okay, then inevitable famine followed. So slowly, even famine followed. Now famine means there was no rain, so the farmers couldn't grow any crops. Okay, so between 1822 and 1836, 15 lakh Indians died of starvation because they couldn't grow any crops. Okay, they had no food. So in this year, that is 1822 and 1836, these years, many Indians lost their life due to starvation, due to no food. So this is what happened during 1822 and 1836. The British policies ruined the expert artisans and their business. Slowly, even the artisans who were having skills, okay, like pot making, then you can say all this handicraft, the people who are good at all this, even these people, okay, because of their policies, ruined the expert artisans and their business. So even they had no food to eat, they lost their businesses. So the people of India suffered a lot, okay, from 1765 to 1856. So this is all about the British rule from 1765 to 1836. Now the fourth is Rajaram Mohan Roy from 1772 to 1833. Okay, now you have heard about this personality, about Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Now Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he was a learned man from Bengal. So this person was very learned and he was from Bengal, and he understood what was wrong with our country. He realized that something is going wrong with our country. Let us not despise. Despise means hate. Okay, the meaning despise means is hate. So it says, let us not despise ourselves. Our ancient culture is great. So this is the man who understood that we are fighting among each others. Okay, he knows that our country culture is very great. So what he does? So he says, let us not hate ourselves. Our ancient culture is great, and we are capable of great achievements. He says that we Indians can achieve great things. Okay, great achievements we are capable of. We must fight. First, reform our society. Superstitions have been ruining us. So, this person realizes that there are lots of superstitions in our society, and that's why our society has to be first reformed. Only then we are capable of great achievements. This is what he realizes. He says that we all are hating ourselves, that is the Indians, and we also have great culture. So we have to follow. We can do anything. He says we can achieve great things. Okay, so he says first thing is that we have to reform our society, because there are lots of superstitions. Now he told his wife Uma, cows are different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. Different teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is the same. This is what he wants to tell. Okay, he is saying that though there are cows of different colors, all of us know the cows color is white, brown, black. Okay, so he says the cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk, see, the color of their milk is the same, he says. Though the color of the cow is different, the milk color is of all same. Okay, so same thing it applies to human beings. Different teachers have different opinions. Okay, but the essence of every religion is the same. Though every religion teaches us in a different way, but real essence of every religion is the same. This is what Rajaram Mohan tells his wife. Okay, he was attracted by science and modern knowledge. So Rajaram Mohan Roy, okay, he was again far-sighted leader, and he was attracted by science and modern knowledge. So he wanted to learn more of the modern things. Knowledge should be practical and scientific. This was he believed that knowledge should be practical and it should be scientific, not superstitious. Okay, he started a newspaper, but the suspicious Britishers stopped them in 1823. So Rajaram Mohan Raj is learned person. He started his own newspaper, and the Britishers were very suspicious, were very doubtful. Now here the meaning of suspicious is very doubtful. So the Britishers were very doubtful, and they stopped his newspaper in the year 1823. Then what happened? He crossed the seas and went to England to see what made the British powerful. There he told them. So now what happened? This man was very enthusiastic. He wanted to know exactly what is happening between the Indians and the Britishers, and that's the reason he wanted to learn how the Britishers stay, how they think, how they act, and how they have so much scientific knowledge. Okay, how their thinking is so ahead of the Indians. So what made him realize? He said that I have to cross the seas, means I have to go to abroad okay, to Britain, to England, and have to learn. So this is what he says. He crosses the seas and went to England to see what made the British powerful. There he told them. So when he went to England, what he told, that is Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he told the British, we accept you as rulers. So this is what he is telling, that we accept you as rulers, okay, as our kings. You must accept us as your subject, okay. So the people, they are known as the subject, okay. So we accept you as rulers, that's like a king, and you must accept us as your subjects, okay. But you must remember the responsibility a ruler owes to his subject. Now what is he saying? That you must remember that the it's your responsibility as a ruler to take care of your subjects, okay. This is what he has, when he went to England, he told the Britishers. Yes, this we already finished it. He started his own newspaper, but the suspicious British stopped them in 1823. Now comes the oppression. Okay, oppression is nothing but suppression. The meaning of oppression is suppression. So this started in the year 1765 to 1835. It started in the year 1765 to 1835. Now what happened here? The British continued to oppress Indians. So this was already happening, and it went on again happening more and more. The Britishers continued to suppress our Indians. In 1818, they had passed a regulation 3. Under it, an Indian could be jailed without trials in a court. Trials means they couldn't go to the court. You know, if anybody has to be sent to the jail, first we have to go to the court, and then the case is fought. Okay, then only if we are found guilty, they put us in jail. But what happened during 1818? The Britishers passed a regulation, and what they said, an Indian could be jailed without trials in the court. So there will be no case in the court. Without trials, they will be put behind bars. This was what new law that they had passed. Okay, then all the British officers in India drew big salaries and made fortunes in private business. So what happened now? The Britishers, they started taking drew big salaries, means it started taking huge amount of salaries. Okay, payment was taken by the Britishers, that was very huge, and also made fortunes in private business, and also they flourished in private business. So this was by the Britishers. Then what happened? Okay, in 1829, Britain was exporting British goods worth 7 crore rupees to India. See the amount. Those days crores means how much. Okay, so in 1829, Britain was exporting British goods to India. So British goods from Britain were exported to India, and they were about 7 crores rupees to India. So a very huge amount. Now the Governor General Bentinck reported back home. So this is the Governor General who told the British, reported back home means the British. Okay, the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India. Now, what does this mean? That means the people, those who are cotton weavers, they were in great demand in those days. But what happened? The raw material was sent to England, to Britain, and the finished goods were brought from there. So now here in India, what happened? Our weavers, okay, they became very poor. So the bones of the Indian weavers are bleaching the plains of India. This is what he says. So this message he gives to the British, to his to England, if you say, to back to his home. The British prospered on the company's loot. while Indian industries began to die. So what happened? Our industries began to die, our artisans became very poor. Okay, the condition of India was very bad. The cotton weaving had become a dying art now, and man is being replaced by machines. Okay, so the product that came to India from Britain was very fine product. Then cotton weavers and weaving were becoming extinct in our country. Slowly, it started becoming extinct in our country.